Hey, so Pastor Matthew, a lot of people want to know about the lead pastor of the church that they attend. And so, can you just share a little bit more about who you are? Like, what are some words that you would use to describe you?
All right, so I thought about this a little bit.
Okay.
And the very first one that is most natural for me would be storyteller. I am a natural storyteller. I get that from my dad. He is the ultimate storyteller. But it's really cool because I feel like I have the best story in the world to share, and it's the good news of the gospel. And so I'm serious about that. And so sometimes it's storytelling about scripture, and then it's sometimes storytelling about life in general, but it kind of lends itself to merging both of those worlds together.
Okay. Yeah, nice. What else? What other words?
The word curious. I am insatiably curious. I have so many questions about so many things. I'm just a natural question asker. And so I have a tendency to just ask tons of people questions as I get to know people and want to get to know about them. But I also just have so many questions about life and so many questions about like existence and about scripture and about God and about faith and about religion. And like some of those questions are doubt related questions, but some of them are just like hope related questions. But I am just an insatiably curious person.
Were you the but why kid?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I was. I had questions about everything. But why? But why? But why? And ironically, now as a parent, I have one of those kids, and it's Silas. He's a but why kid.
Circled back around to you. Huh?
Yeah, it did. It circled around hard.
Okay.
Yeah, and then another word that kind of lends itself to being curious is that I'm just a learner. Like we always say we don't want to outgrow learning, and I just don't want to ever outgrow learning. There's always so much to learn. And so a learner would be another one. Passionate would be the fourth one, I think. I'm an incredibly passionate person. I think you meet me for 10 seconds and you'll realize I have a lot of energy, and I am an extremely, extremely passionate about person. I'm passionate about faith. I'm passionate about, Jesus, but I'm also passionate about my family. I'm passionate about other people and relationships and all sorts of different things. And then I'm passionate about like sports, that kind of stuff. I'm just a very passionate person.
I've seen you yell at a TV.
Not out of anger, just excitement, Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm wired. And then the last one is quirky. I am a quirky person. I think we're all a little bit quirky.
We are, yeah.
Yeah, we all
quirky.
have some quirkiness.
Do you have an example of a quirk?
Or
you just have multitudes?
Yeah, I'm just a giant quirk. I think that's what it is.
Just one big quirk.
Yeah, I exist as a quirk. I've got weird little tics and all that stuff. I blink in patterns of 4. I know that I'm on blink 1 right now. And now you're going to be looking at my blinks. That's called OCD. Quirkiness is OCD. It's all sorts of different things. I'm very ADHD.
Okay.
I talk a lot. Hyperverbal is the way some people might describe it.
Verbose.
But verbose, yeah, I like using big words. Yeah, you're quirky too.
Yeah.
We talk about this.
Yeah, it's one of the words that I use to describe myself frequently.
Quirkiness is a spectrum. I think that's about it. So those are some of the words: storyteller, curious, learner, passionate, very quirky.
What about some of your spiritual gifts?
Yeah, spiritual gifts are so important, right? So a couple of the spiritual gifts that I would have that I think are fitting for what I do in this role as the lead pastor would be teaching, teaching, preaching. It's just one of those things that comes naturally to me. It's one of those things I'm deeply, deeply passionate about. Extremely, extremely passionate about preaching. I think evangelism and sharing the gospel, being able to sum up complex ideas and concepts about scripture and about religion and faith in really simple, digestible ways is something that I love doing. And so synthesizing lots of information. And I think I'm just wired that way. It's a spiritual gift for me. And then I think these kind of go hand in hand. These last two would be apostle and prophecy. And I don't mean prophecy like I'm some sort of a prophet here. Like an Old Testament prophet, but prophecy and apostleship in the sense that I'm kind of out in front of people. I'm as a leader, I tend to be ahead of people and kind of thinking what's down the road, what's coming, what's next. And as a leader of a church, that's a really good quality to have. Sometimes it's difficult for us to stay present in the moment when we're apostles and when we're kind of had that that prophecy kind of spiritual gift. But I'm just kind of ahead and always thinking of what's next and trying to really process what's coming for our church.
Yeah. Okay. So we have this thing that we reference every now and then called APEST.
Yes.
And so that you talk through some of the acronyms for that. Can you explain that a little bit more and specifically where you land, like your top two?
Yeah, APEST is a really big deal. We did a sermon series on APEST and on this acronym. And so I would highly encourage you to go to our YouTube page to get the full scope of this over the course of about 6 weeks is what we covered. And so APEST, in short, is an acronym that stands for apostle, prophet, evangelist, shepherd, and teacher. And these gifts of APEST are actually the gifts that are given to the church by Jesus. In Ephesians 4:11, it specifically says that Jesus gave the gifts of apostle, prophet, evangelist, shepherd, or pastor. It actually sometimes says pastor and not shepherd, but shepherd and then teacher to the church. And what's neat is that in the next verse, in Ephesians 4:12, it actually says that Jesus gives us those gifts for a few different things. One is for unity in the church. Another one is for knowledge of the Son of God, so you get to know Jesus more. And then the third is actually for maturity. And so we believe that in order to have a healthy church, we actually have the fullness of the APEST as a healthy church, which means that we need all of the gifts from all of the people in, in God's church to kind of be a healthy church and have full maturity. And so we need apostles, prophets, evangelists, shepherds, and teachers. And the part of the difficulty is you might have APET, APET. And if you're missing the shepherding, then what that means is you might have a lot of things in order, but people in your church might not feel cared for and shepherded. You might have APES, but not the T at the end. And the T is kind of the truth part of things. You might have the P that is missing, the prophecy, and it's kind of this idea of where God is leading us. You might have too much prophecy and not enough truth, and things get really weird in churches when you have too much kind of prophecy, and so it's the fullness of that. My wiring is very much on the apostle side, very much ahead of people, and then also on the teaching side. What is that truth? Where are we landing with that truth? And so APEST is a big deal for us here at Inspire.
Yeah, awesome.